was a showdown in the desert. Stay tuned to find out why USC football slid down in the rankings. It's a coaching matchup for the books this weekend as Lincoln Riley looks to stay undefeated against Colorado's Deion Sanders. USC basketball is back. The team took to the court on Monday with some new faces.
Happy Wednesday and welcome back to Sports Scene. We've got a packed show for you. Hi, I'm Pickle Coleman.
I'm Scott Hills.
And I'm Casey Kasliner. It's the end of September, and you know what that means. We are in the thick of college football. Let's take a look at what USC football was up to last weekend. For the first time this season, the Trojans took their talents on the road this weekend, traveling to Tempe, Arizona. The unranked Sundown.
And so the Trojans take it in Tempe, Arizona, 42-28. Definitely closer than USC wanted it to be and really expected it to be. But nonetheless, Caleb Williams showed up and somewhat single-handedly got USC the win. He had over 300 yards through the air and added 3 touchdowns through the air as well as 2 on the ground. But Marshawn Lloyd also continuing his breakout year, over 150 yards on the ground. He was a key part in the victory. But penalties were definitely a reason why Arizona State kept it closer than USC would have liked. USC committed 10 penalties for a total of 85 yards. Now they go on to face a pretty solid Colorado team that is coming off a terrible loss at Oregon. They lost 42-6, and as Deion put it, it was a good old-fashioned butt whooping. I'm sure Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams are going to look to do the same next week. Until then, stay tuned. I'm Nolan Ezett reporting from Tempe, Arizona, and as always, fight on.
The Trojans were heavily favored to win, but early fumbles and penalties plagued them, allowing ASU to keep the game close. The fourth quarter decided the game when the USC defense made an interception and Caleb Williams threw 2 touchdowns. USC head coach Lincoln Riley had some honest thoughts about the Trojans' performance.
You know, the road games can challenge you. It was an example how mistakes tend to show up on the road a little bit different than they do at home. And we obviously made some critical mistakes that kept that a pretty close game at half. I mean, we know there's a lot of things to learn from, and I think this team will do that and look forward to our next road challenge.
Struggled to hold off ASU's offense, allowing quarterback Drew Pine to throw for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Trojans' struggles were not only on defense, but on offense too. USC went 3 for 10 on third down conversions, forcing many drives to result in little to no points. In the end, the Trojans came out with a 14-point victory, but took a loss on Sunday when they dropped 3 spots in the rankings, going from 5 to 8. The Trojans will certainly need to perform better if they want to keep their spot in the top 10. USC's underwhelming performance on Saturday caused a drop in the AP Top 25. Drake has some more on the Trojans' new spot.
Thanks, Casey. USC football dropped in the AP 25 rankings. The fall came despite USC's 42-28 victory against Arizona State. So why did they drop? Well, let's take a look at the bottom half of the top 10. USC drops from 5th to 8th as Ohio State, Penn State, and Washington leapfrog the Trojans. Both Oregon and Utah move up 1 spot after victories against Colorado and UCLA, respectively. Ohio State climbed from 6th to 4th after defeating then 9th-ranked Notre Dame 17-14 on the last play of the game. The Fighting Irish only had 10 men on the field for the final play, but head coach Marcus Freeman did not want to risk a penalty that would have moved the ball closer to the goal. Penn State went from 7th to 6th after shutting out then-ranked 24th Iowa 31-0. It was the Nittany Lions' first shutout of an AP opponent since 1999. Finally, Washington defeated conference opponent Cal in a 59-32 blowout. Michael Penix Jr. threw for 304 yards, but the Husky defense scored 2 touchdowns before Penix even took a snap on an 83-yard punt return and a 35-yard pick six. I mean, they won the game against ASU at the end of the day, and it's hard to justify dropping a team, too far down if they won the game. Now that said, they did allow 28 points to ASU's 4th-string quarterback, and the Sun Devils were also suffering from other injuries as well. Vegas had the point spread at 34.5, and the Trojans came nowhere close to that. And you also have to look at where the other teams are in the top 25 as well. I mean, Washington blew out Cal by, in the 32 points by Cal. It's a little bit deceptive since most of those were scored in garbage time. And then Penn State and Ohio State also had very impressive victories against ranked teams.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think USC dropped as much as they should have. You take a look, USC at 8, Oregon at 9. Oregon's last game against Colorado dominated the Buffs in all 3 aspects of the football game: offense, defense, special teams. USC looked sloppy in all 3. Too many procedural penalties on offense, a near fumble on special teams and a kickoff out of bounds. Defensively, the tackling was atrocious against a terrible Arizona State team. You knew Bo Scatabo was the only guy who could beat you, and he went up and down the field in the running and the passing game. The tackling looked like the Utah championship game again. They're 3rd in the Pac-12 in my view.
USC has an opportunity to impress in their biggest game of the season so far. Back to the desk for more.
Thanks, guys. It's the weekend many Trojans fans have been waiting for: Coach Prime versus Lincoln Riley. Not only a notable coaching matchup, but quarterback matchup as well, with 2 Heisman contenders in Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams. Right now, Colorado stands unranked nationally and tied at number 7 in the Pac-12. Colorado's stats paint a very interesting picture. The Buffs' offense is dominant in the air, but not so much on the ground. Their run statistics are poor, showing that Shedeur's only option really is to run himself or pass to his wide receivers. Colorado's rank and reputation took a big hit this weekend in Eugene as the Buffs took a 42-6 loss to number 9 Oregon. Colorado was never really in the game to begin with. Oregon came out hot in the first half, scoring 5 touchdowns and holding Colorado to 0 points and 31 yards. While all eyes were on Coach Prime and his son quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Oregon's Bo Nix silenced the Buffalo Stampede with another Heisman candidate performance. Second-year head coach Dan Lanning held nothing back in his pregame speech.
You don't for your helmet, right? Every moment. The Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference, right? This game ain't going to be played in Hollywood, it's going to be played on the grass, right? It's going to be played on the grass.
Colorado may have had a reality check on Saturday, but they'll be looking for revenge against the 8th-ranked Trojans. Well, how can USC's offense capitalize against Colorado on Saturday?
Well, Scott, that last game in Eugene last Saturday gave USC a very clear plan to attack the Colorado defense. Bucky Irving ran all over the Buffs, averaging nearly 9 yards per rush. The Trojans were strong in their ground attack as well with Marshawn Lloyd, but only ran the ball on 37% of their offensive snaps. So let's take a look at how the running game works so well. So this first play we're going to look at is just great execution. You're going to have your tight end, Eric Cromenhope, take the defensive end out of the play. Right tackle pulls, left tackle gets to the second level, and this gives Marshawn Lloyd what he does best, and it's space. Nice bounce to the outside. What I love about this play is you've got a true freshman and a senior receiver blocking 12 yards down the field to set up USC in 1st and goal. Now here's what Lloyd does when it doesn't work so well up front. So you're going to see the defensive end is going to stunt here and get a free lane up the middle on a run right up the gut. And look at how quickly Lloyd reacts. Cut to the outside, beautiful juke move on the linebacker in open space. And again, look at the blocking. Brendan Rice is going to take this cornerback 20 yards down the field to set up a 43-yard run for Lloyd. Now let's take a look at Oregon's rushing attack and how weak Colorado is in this area and how USC can exploit it. So here, Colorado defending a talented running back in Bucky Irving. This is 2nd and 21, obvious passing down, but they're going to run the ball, and everyone on the offensive line does their job. It's a wide open hole for Irving, and look at this. Hurdle, juke move, and he's going to carry this undersized linebacker 5 yards down the field to pick up a first down on 2nd and 21. This shows just how weak Colorado is tackling at the second level. It's something USC needs to take advantage of. Now, I know how tempting it is to have your Heisman-winning quarterback drop back on every snap, but it's a more balanced attack is going to be the best way that will help this offense reach its full potential. So, Pickle, let's send it back to you and the rest of the team.
Thanks, Will. The Buffaloes were missing notable wide receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter against the Ducks, but USC could face a Colorado team missing 2 big stars on the defensive side of the ball. Safety Shiloh Sanders is currently listed as questionable for Saturday's game, with hopes to play after being taken to the hospital following Colorado's loss versus Oregon. Travis Hunter is still recovering from a liver injury sustained against Colorado State. Here is head coach Deion Sanders on his status.
I need to play this week. We need to get everything we can so I can get back on the field. I'm not taking no for an answer. No, you ain't ready, and I care about you more than I care about this game. You're going to change the game of football one day when you're healthy and ready. Your future is brighter than mine ever will be and ever was. Relax and get healthy. I love you, son. That was the conversation.
Without both Hunter and Sanders, Colorado loses two of its most important assets.
You know about USC, you know about the matchup. But now it's time to find out more about Ralphie and the Colorado Buffaloes. It's time to meet the opponent. Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders has the second most passing yards in the country and has helped turn this Buffaloes team around. Prior to the blowout loss versus Oregon, Shedeur was toward the top of the Heisman rankings. Sanders led Colorado to a 3-0 start to the season, including a big upset victory against TCU in Week 1, where he broke the school's single-game passing record with 510 yards. Last week's brutal loss saw Sanders only throw for 159 yards in the effort, decreasing his Heisman chances, so he will have to regroup and lead his team back to the win column to get back there.
Freshman running back Dylan Edwards is definitely a player to look out for this weekend. He was a standout in his Boulder football debut against TCU a few weeks ago. He scored the game-winning touchdown and broke the record for receiving yards in a game by a running back with 135. Edwards has slowed down in his last few games, but he has proven that he is a quick player with lots of potential.
On the defensive side of the ball, junior safety Trevor Woods has stepped up big for the Buffaloes in the first 3 weeks of the season. Woods recorded a season-high 9 tackles to start the year against TCU and has had 2 crucial interceptions so far this season, one against TCU and one against Colorado State. Watch for him in guarding those dynamic USC receivers in Taj Washington and Brendan Rice.
Be sure to look out for these Buffaloes. The game is at Saturday at 9 a.m. on Pacific time on Fox. From the court to the field, Trojans dominate everywhere. Find out who took home awards this week. Women's volleyball is serving up wins. Find out how they've been able to dominate the court.
Fushigi!
Fushigi, I don't know what it is, but it's the coolest thing ever, and I can do it.
Hi, I'm Tim Goey, and this is Fushigi. We're going to show you how to unlock the secrets of Fushigi, the magic gravity ball. No strings, no tricks. Magic? Maybe. An illusion? You decide. You can make Fushigi defy gravity and appear to float in midair with maneuvers like the prayer cross, the enigma, levitation, and so many more. It floats, it levitates, it will confuse the senses with its mind-blowing movements. Young or old, big or small, anyone can Fushigi from the minute they pick up the magic gravity ball. And with a little practice, you can conquer Fushigi.
It's so amusing.
I think it's fabulous.
I get it now.
Everyone loves Fushigi, and you don't have to be a magician. It's relaxing, even therapeutic. Best of all, it's just amazing. It floats.
It's awesome.
Fushigi.
From basic maneuvers to the advanced, even control more than one Fushigi at a time. You can do this. Mystify, amaze, and confuse your friends in just minutes. Now it's your turn to master Fushigi.
Fushigi!
It's sick. It's so much fun. I love it.
It's amazing!
I love it!
Me too!
My grandson, he's 16, he would love one of those. I want to buy it now.
Fushigi. Call now to...
USC men's basketball is back. The team held their first practice of the season on Monday. The Trojans have high expectations going into the 2023 season, placing 21st in ESPN's way too early top 25 rankings. For the Trojans, it was all business. USC was without freshman Bronny James in practice after he suffered from cardiac arrest in late July. During the preseason, the Trojans went to Greece and Croatia, where they played 3 games against 2 professional teams, winning all of them.
Put this way, the team chemistry is very good in this team. We have the advantage going to Europe and Greece and Croatia. For 10 days in August, played 3 games. And I thought that has helped us. They come in, they know each other as players. Really had fun getting to know each other as people, which is important.
Given this highly anticipated basketball season, what are you two most looking forward to?
I'm really excited seeing the schedule come out and seeing Kansas State as the first game. Kansas State reached all the way to the Elite Eight last year. They were number 3 in the rankings, lost to Florida Atlantic, and that's going to be a team that USC is definitely going to circle on their calendar coming up this season.
You know, for me, the talk about this team has been all Bronny James and Isaiah Collier, these 2 powerful freshmen, but I'm excited to see how DJ Rodman, son of basketball great Dennis Rodman and grad student transfer from Washington State, can contribute to this team. You know, he's a veteran player, but he's a new face on this roster. I think he's going to be a leader right off the bat.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see how these new players come in and mesh with the already very solid team foundation, and I'm especially excited to see Boogie Ellis lead his team for a 5th year. He had just an incredible statistical record last season, and I'm so excited to see what happens this year.
Sure thing, Pickle. Women's volleyball is on a roll, spiking down Oregon State with a shutout win on Sunday. This win kept the Trojans' win streak alive, marking their 7th victory in a row. After a rough start to the season, losing 4 out of their first 5 matches, USC has gotten back to their winning ways. They dominated the Beavers following a big win over crosstown rival UCLA. Skylar Fields led USC to victory with 18 kills and 5 digs. The women of Troy now stand at 8-4 on the season and 2-0 in the Pac-12. With the return of starting setter Mia Tuaniga and the momentum of outside hitter Skylar Fields, the Trojans will look to build on their streak of success as they continue Pac-12 play. USC is currently unranked, but they already hold a win over number 17 Purdue. They play again Friday against Utah and Sunday against Colorado, both at the Galen Center.
Now it's time to highlight some Trojans who were recognized on a conference level for their notable performances last week. With 7 tackles and 2 sacks against Arizona State last week, inside linebacker Tackett Curtis took home Pac-12 Freshman of the Week honors. Curtis has been critical for the Trojan defense that leads the nation in tackles for loss. Outside hitter London Weejay took home her 2nd consecutive Pac-12 Freshman of the Week award, thanks to 24 kills and 10 digs in the Trojans' victory over UCLA last week. Weejay also moved into the conference's top 20 kills per set rankings and will strive to replicate her performances this week against Utah and Colorado. Water polo standout Zach Bettino won MPSF Newcomer of the Week after scoring the game-winning goal in overtime against number 4 Stanford. With 4 goals that game, a career high, Bettino helped lead USC to victory. Junior Amari Avery was awarded Pac-12 Women's Golfer of the Week after a successful tournament in Washington last week. Finishing 9 under par, she took home her 5th career individual title. Across a number of sports, Trojans have gotten national attention thanks to their performances. Tackett Curtis and Zach Bettino were awarded these honors for the first time in their careers. I'm looking forward to seeing how these Trojans will continue to excel in the coming weeks. But Drake will tell us, who are your Trojans of the Week?
Well, Pickle, it was another week of standout performances from the Trojans. Will and I have our picks for Trojan of the Week. Massimo Di Martire scored 9 goals for men's water polo in the MPSF Invitational, including 3 against crosstown rival UCLA. On the season, Di Martire has a team-leading 22 goals.
Brendan Rice was Caleb Williams' top target in Tempe. The senior hauled in 7 receptions for 133 yards, which were both season highs for any USC receiver. His 2 touchdown grabs tied Taj Washington for the most by a Trojan wideout this year as well. So let's dive deep into why we selected these 2 for Trojan of the Week.
Yeah, I mean, for Di Martire, he's just a standout leader on the team. He had a phenomenal season last year, and I mean, just look for him to have another breakout season this year. I mean, he was crucial in that game against Stanford. He had 3 goals that allowed the Trojans to tie it up and then eventually take the lead on Bettino's goal at the end. And I'm just excited to see what he can bring.
Well, you look around at a lot of college football box scores. It's pretty rare that 7-catch game is actually going to stand out to you, but it does when it comes to USC because how evenly the distribution to these pass catchers has been. So for Rice to record 7 is actually pretty impressive, not to mention how clutch he was in this game, scoring his first touchdown on a huge 4th down and 7 early in the game for Caleb Williams, and the second one when it was a 1-score game in the 4th quarter to finally allow USC to pull away just a little bit. Really strong performance from him.
And those are our picks for Trojan of the Week. Tune in next week to see who takes home the crown. Coming up, it wasn't grass in the Coliseum last weekend. See how it transformed for the motocross finals. And which USC alum shined in the NFL this past week? Find out next.
I'm working for an hourly wage. I went to high school, didn't do great. Still I gotta make more cash. More education is what I'm looking at. When I get a degree, I will make a bigger salary. So now I've got to see which college is right for me. I went on the internet and found Education Connection. I took some free tests to find out my direction. I'm taking my classes online, getting my degree on my own time. Education Connection matched me with the right college for free. Get connected for free with Education Connection. Get connected for free with Education Connection.
Log on now and get your free success kit worth $100. Log on now to educationconnectiontv.com. That's educationconnectiontv.com.
There's a new pet. Chia. Chia Pet, the pottery that grows. It's fun and easy. Soak your chia, spread the seeds, keep it watered, and watch it grow. And now grow a whole collection of fun with chia teddy bears, puppies, kittens, rams, bulls. There's even a chia tree to keep your pets company. Chia Pets and Trees, the pottery that grows.
The Chia Pet and Chia Tree are available at Kmart, Rite Aid, Ames, and Woolworth. Makes a great gift.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. The Memorial Coliseum was busy this weekend, but not with Trojan football. Let's hear from Dylan for more on the Coliseum's exciting Saturday.
The Coliseum seems to be one of the most sought-after venues in the country. From the Olympics to NASCAR and now motocross, there's nothing the Coliseum cannot handle. On Saturday, the Coliseum hosted the inaugural Super Motocross World Championship. Roughly 1,000 dump trucks containing 30 million pounds of dirt were transferred into the Coliseum last Monday. By midweek, around 3/4 of the track was completed. The track featured riders going up the steps, through the peristyle, and back down the stands. All the dirt in the Coliseum was removed Monday and stored for the next race at Angel Stadium in January. The Super Motocross World Championship combined the Stadium Series Supercross Championship and the Outdoors Motocross Championship for the first time. 20-year-old rookie Australian phenom Jet Lawrence won the 450 World Championship and $1 million after a dominating showing in the Coliseum. 17-year-old Hayden Deegan also captured the 250 championship. The race marked the first time Supercross was at the Coliseum since 1998. It was also the homecoming for Supercross, as the first ever Supercross race took place at the Coliseum in 1972.
Now it's time to look at some former Trojans making their marks in the National Football League, on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Chargers rookie edge rusher Tuli Tuipulotu has been outstanding thus far. Against the Vikings last Sunday, Tuipulotu had a sack and 9 pressures, bringing him to 3 total sacks in just 2 starts. The young rookie is making a name for himself on a team that struggles defensively. Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman led Indianapolis with 9 receptions for 177 yards in the Colts' gritty overtime win over the Ravens. Averaging 8.6 yards per catch in the game, Pittman made a large impact. With the NFL season in full swing, these former Trojans continue to make headlines and show their potential on the field on a variety of different teams. That's all for this week on Sports Scene. We'll see you next time. For everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Casey Kasliner.
I'm Scott Hills.
And I'm Pickle Coleman. Fight on!